I'm now looking at the fours in Palm's Oracle deck. Um, Two of these are actually the first two cards I drew, and that is the Four of Diamonds and the Four of Spades. I believe the Four of Diamonds was the first one, and if you look at it, you can kind of tell. You can see that I was using a little bit of a more loose style when I drew that one, and in fact, I considered redrawing it for a while until I sat and meditated on the whole spread of all of the images, and then decided that it did fit and it was good, because I do like it. I do like the image a lot of the Four of Diamonds. But let's go and follow suits as we have been and begin with the spades. I love the image of a key, and I use a key as a pendulum when I perform for people and in psychic parties and things when I'm working with groups. Key is a very powerful symbol, and usually even when I'm giving a reading, part of my setup, what I put in front of me, there will be some crystals and things, and one of the things will be an old key. And I want people to understand that they're unlocking themselves for transformation, and that's what this is about. It's unlocking yourself for transformation, making a change in the structure of the way you've been doing things, making a different plan. And I'm saying that because this is the Four of Spades. Fours, if we think about it like on a die, is a square. It is a stable space. It is the number for home. It is the number for structure, for planning. And unless you're Chinese, in which case the four I don't know if I could call it Chinese numerology, but there are special numbers in Chinese tradition that have different meaning behind them based on puns, on rhyming. And the word for four, which is say in Cantonese, the word sounds like the same word for death. So there's a fear of the number four. I just, whenever I present this to people who have that correlation, I acknowledge it and say, okay, but in this case, we're going to think of this as structure and planning, and that's how I look at four. You could also see it as a way to make changes in terms of the way we look at a death card, but that's making it too complicated. So structure, planning, and a transformation through making a plan and a conscious change to unlock something within, to unlock something unknown, to find a secret, to open a door. This is the kind of transformation you're going to make through the Four of Spades. The Four of Hearts is just lovely. It's a joy card. The bouquet is, you receive a bouquet in your home, and that bouquet makes everyone happy. It's usually in a situation of celebration. The bouquet is just a good time. It's kind of a happy, joyous experience card. I enjoyed definitely drawing it. This image, I can't off the top. I will put it in the book, but right now I can't remember which exact Baroque period master painting I based this drawing on. I took there's a period of Flemish, mostly painting of still lifes, where they really got into the detail of bouquets of flowers with insects, and I've always loved those. When I go to museums, I spend a lot of time getting lost in the bouquets, and that in itself is a joyous experience. So this is based on one of those paintings, and my background is in fine art. I studied art for a very long time, and I can claim I have a degree in painting. I can paint classical styles and things like that. So there is a love I have for the history of art as well. So this is finding joy in your heart and putting that into your plan. It's a good card, positive card. Four of Clubs is, if you think of structures and places where plans are made, places of power for where planning is made, we have the Tower. And this tower in particular is one of the tallest buildings in Hong Kong where I live. This is the IFC Tower, the International Finance Center Tower. If you've seen the movie Batman, The Dark Knight, there's a point in this movie where he jumps off at the top of this tower, glides down to another tower where he fights the bad guy or whatever. But that's the first place I probably saw this building before I moved here. That movie had come out not long, maybe the year or two before I moved to Hong Kong. And I've always had an affinity for that building. There are times where when I'm hiking up on the mountains, you can look down and there will be a fog over the city, a sort of low cloud, and coming out of that you'll see the IFC tower. The structure of the composition of this image comes from a picture of a mountain, an illustration of a mountain I found hanging on the wall at the Big Buddha temple. There is, in Lantau Island here in Hong Kong, there is a giant Buddha that you hike up to, and you go up a long step, and you can go inside the giant Buddha. And in there, there's some lovely, wonderful ink paintings. And one of those is a mountain with clouds around it and a giant circle in the air. And I just loved that image and then adapted it for my IFC tower. And I think we have to reflect that while the tower represents the material world and our power through our ability to manipulate the material world, that there's still a natural power higher than that in the world of consciousness. And the circle kind of shows that because it's higher than the tower, we have to still be humble to nature. We still need to be humble to the all, for whichever way you want to look at that. So the tower is generally thought of as authority and can be government. It can be official business, structuring things within the official world or material world that we exist in, and the power that governs society, whatever society it is that you live in. Four of Diamonds is the government of the society of your own family. This is the home card. This is the house, the place of your dwelling. Keeping that organized, maintaining that place, finding power in there, finding comfort, finding an ability to grow and be useful. It's a useful card. If you look at the picture of the house, this is a very southern sort of manor home. It always reminds me of, or I think the impetus of it, where it came from in my mind, was the house of my piano teacher when I was a kid. I loved her house. We had to drive kind of far out away to get to it. She had her own entry drive with tree-lined street before you got to the actual house. And if you look at the details in this image, if you get a magnifying glass, there's an owl in the tree. There's a person sort of watching out the window, and there's another person leaning on the tree. And I like to kind of get lost in the story that exists within that space. Finding wisdom within your home is what the owl is about. You'll find the owl card later as a wisdom card. I think that's the Jack of Clubs. Pretty sure. No, it's Queen. It's Queen of Clubs. Finding that path towards a sense of accomplishment and a sense of comfort in your own home. Looking at, again, the numerological sort of hero's journey, if you can think of it that way. You have the individual connects with people, the individual creates and expresses him or herself, or has children. Something comes from their existence, and then they build a home. They find structure. They find a pattern. They find a way of living for themselves. They find their routine. So 4 is that sense of routine. 5 starts us moving out of the routine and exploring new things. So that gets exciting.